In today's society, guys think the LS is the only way to go. A few months ago, I rebuilt a 350 with cheap parts. Most of them came off eBay. We're gonna get real deep in depth to how has this engine been, how have the off-brand heads been, how have everything been on this truck. We finna get right into it. No strings attached. Let's get into it. So let's talk about what I have here. Let's talk about this combination. I do have a small part that I need to install. I'm gonna talk to y'all while I'm getting the package open and all this stuff like that. Dang, can't pop my hood. That's some junk. Come on, hood, stop playing with me now. There we go. I had already opened it, my bad, y'all. Anyway, so up under this hood, I know y'all can't see it from that angle, but I am gonna get y'all in here. This is my budget small block Chevy 350. Yes, you heard me correctly. 350 cubic inches, not 355. None of that. 350, right? I rebuilt this 350 after I started to get blow by. I opened the oil cap and it was puffing. You know, it was puffing out of there. So I said, well, it's been a good run since 2016. Let's just go ahead and figure out a rebuild for it. So I figured maybe it's just piston rings. So I said, okay, let's just try to see if we could get away with only installing piston rings and putting it back together, because I bought another block a few months back to build a 383. So I said, okay, so let's not get too crazy with this, because I wanna, you know, build a 383. So after trying everything and testing everything and saying, okay, well, I might as well just do it. Cranked the engine up one day at the gym. I left the gym. I had been riding around in it. Left the gym one day and it cranked up and it had a scratching, kind of like a squeaking metal noise, like something in the engine, you know. And my first thought was switch it off. You know, I was about 15 minutes from the house, but it was running, but it was like, squeak. I'm like, God darn it, this joke gonna win out on me. I gotta call the tow truck, or I gotta try to find a way to get it home. So my first initial thought was, okay, let's try to see if we can get it home, even if, you know, it blows up on the way, because I already knew it needed a rebuild. Got it home, crank it back up again. I never could get it to do that noise again. Never could get it to do it again. It would not do it again. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that was. Called a few people. I said, hey, what do you think this is? They said, I don't know, but it does, you know, it doesn't sound good. So I let it sit in the yard a few days, crank it up, revved on it, drove it, tried to see if it'll do it again, would not do it again. But what I noticed was the puffing had gotten way worse. So I said, okay, there's definitely something wrong. Let me bore scope it. Take a bore scope, stick it down in the pistons. I think I see something on a particular piston, but as I pulled the heads off, didn't see nothing on that side. Get to the other side, one of the pistons is pretty chewed up, and that particular piston had a piece broke off of it. And you know, I'm guessing that's what I heard that day. I'm guessing that was the squeaking noise, I guess. I don't know. Cylinder wall got a little bit scratched up, but nothing that your fingernail would grab. So at this point, I was committed. I said, hey, we might as well just pull it out at this point. At this point, I had already pulled it. After I said, okay, a piston crack, we're gonna put a new set of pistons in it. That was the only thing I was gonna do. New set of pistons, that's it. Determined to save the rods. Didn't quite work out like that. Let me grab my part and let me finish talking to y'all while I'm working. I'm gonna bring y'all in closer. So right back to the story. Hope this is the right size. Please be the right size. Not quite, but it'll work. Anyway, back to the story. So at this point, I've already figured out that there is an issue with a piston of some sort. Turns out it wasn't the piston that I thought. The bore scope was just showing me something that wasn't actually there, if that makes sense. What actually ended up happening was pull the engine, pull the heads out, pull the head out on the side that I thought the piston was bad on specifically, to try to see if it was. All the pistons on that side looked flawless. Like nothing even looked like wrong with them at all. So just for the people that's wondering what I'm doing, I'm just putting some of these little rubber radiator things up under here, so that, let me show y'all what they are. I know I'm getting all off subject. I know y'all probably like, man, finish telling the story, man. We don't care about what you doing, boy. Some people do. Hold on, man, be patient. These little rubber, god darn it. If you've ever taken a radiator support off, you know what I'm talking about. These little rubber things like this, they're on the Fox bodies or whatever. I'm just installing some of these to kind of fill in some of this gap in here, so that this thing will hold this radiator a lot better in the spot for me, even though I'm not sure exactly how good they're gonna fit. But it should hold a radiator is all I'm worried about. I don't care how good it fit. I ain't worried about none of that. I just wanted to fit and hold this radiator still. But anyway, we took the engine apart. The side that I thought was an issue, turns out it wasn't the issue. And put it back in. I put that bad boy back together. and that probably ain't gonna work. Might have to modify this a little bit to make it work, because I don't need it all the way back. Okay, all right, so we got a problem here. Let me go grab a knife or some scissors or something, anything really, cause I see where I need to cut it at and get this thing cut. Let's see, one more time. Let me see one more time, y'all. Okay, so like right there. I'm gonna try to go grab some scissors, man. Hold on. Let me go grab some scissors. I just want to see if I can cut these or something. I really don't want to go grab a razor blade, but hang in there, man. Hang in there. We'll get back to the story. Hold on. Walk with me, talk with me. Our plan was only to put pistons in it, but I remember a few months back that I had already bought a Summit Racing AA02 cam, because I said, hey, I just want to put a cam in this thing, and I was gonna build a budget 355. And plans changed. I said, well, if I'm gonna build 355, I would, you know, if I gotta take it to the machine shop, I would rather just go ahead and, you know, do the whole 383 deal. So I said, hey, I don't want this truck to be down, because a lot of people on the channel enjoy the truck. So I said, hey, we're gonna do a 350 with some Vortex heads, and we're gonna throw a little cam in it. Then, like I said, all of this transpired, and I said, well, if the piston walls look decent, we'll go back with a 350. Fast forward, get the pistons out, get the whole engine taken apart. The pistons don't look bad. Trying to figure out, because if you don't know, small block Chevy have what's called press-on pistons. So you have to press to pin out and press it back in. So, you know, I get one of them out. I'm using heat. I heat it up. One of them comes out, but not without a fight. Probably questionable if I damage that one too. But anyway, second one comes out. I end up messing up a rod, bending a rod, messing it up pretty bad, to the point where I'm like, okay, I might as well get a set of rods too. So I say bump it. I go to Summit Racing. I get some 4-inch, which is standard, you know, small block Chevy 350 pistons, and I get a set of 5.7 length rods, good for like $550, which was a nice, you know, it was like $300 and something. I said, okay, well that's decent. So then we come back, look at the crank. Crank looks fine. We buy a bore thing, not a board thing, but anyway, we didn't bore it. We just kind of scratched up the cylinder walls. I can't remember what it's called, but it's 4-inch. Scratched up the cylinder walls, gave them a nice surface for, you know, whatever seal to. All new bearings, cam bearings, crank bearings. The rod, of course, the rod came with everything. ARP head bolts for the bottom end, because the bolts, all of the bolts, the head had just rounded off on them. I don't know if somebody did it or if they was just old, but all the heads rounded off up under the bottom. So all new all new bolts for the bottom end. And I think that's pretty much it. We decided to go with some new heads. I said, hey, heads are off. These heads don't flow, they suck. So putting a cam in it was gonna be pointless. So I decided to say, go ahead and throw a cam in it. Threw a cam in that bad boy, and like I said, the heads, they suck. So I said, let's look for a set of Vortex heads. Went to the junkyard looking for Vortex heads and couldn't find a set of Vortex heads. Every set I found were non-Vortex. So I'm like, okay, well, that sucks. Come back, and they said, hey, it's gonna be hard to find a good set of Vortex heads anyway, because they warp. And I just said, okay, well, let's just see what these eBay heads talking about. Man, I bought those $300 set of eBay heads, and guys were talking junk. They were talking junk. And anyway, let's just skip all that. I get the engine put back together. The engine runs phenomenally. It's fine. And we'll talk on the way back over. Let me get this done, because this is aggravating me. So fast forward to me getting the heads, a bare set of heads. I didn't buy them with no accessories in them, and I put them together. My first time assembling a set of heads. Definitely a learning experience. Some tools I had to purchase and all kind of stuff like that, but I definitely learned what I needed to learn with all of this stuff. So hands down, worth it. Definitely was a good investment. So I put the heads together, did the install height, I did all of it. Learned a lot in the process, and yeah, got it running. And here we are a couple months out from almost having this bad boy running for a whole year. So how has this truck been? Let's talk about issues I had with the truck. So one of the issues not related to an engine swap is the heater core. I had to replace the heater core, and I had an issue with the fuel pump. I thought it might have been the carburetor, but ended up fuel pump had some issues, and you had to pull that off, pull the fuel pump off. Had to pull the fuel pump off. Carburetor was recently rebuilt. No other issues other than that though. No other issues. Put new wires on it, and that's about it. So how has this thing really been? Let's talk about how has it really been. Other than the gas mileage, it has been phenomenal. The gas mileage on this 350 is horrible. And with gas, with 93 being $5 a gallon, really don't help. But would I rebuild this 350 again? Hands down, yes. Would I rebuild it bigger or what? You know, the only thing I may change is maybe going fuel injection. Carburetor has been flawless, don't get me wrong. A few times I crank it up, it has stumbled and shut off, but 9 times out of 10, it fires off and it runs. No issues, no shutting off at lights, nothing crazy, nothing. It's flawless. But the reason why I say that is because when the temperature changes, I do have to make a few adjustments to it. Nothing crazy, mostly choke adjustments, stuff like that, but that's about it. And I'm talking about very minor, you know, 1 or 2 screw turns, and it's good to go. And I'm pretty sure fuel injection would be better far as, you know, the efficiency of it, how good it runs, how rich it runs, how lean it runs, etc., etc. That would be my only thing. Has the heads caused me any issues? No. Heads have been flawless. The rest of the engine have been flawless. Nothing that I can say out of the way. The rest of the engine has been flawless. Like that's all I can say. That's all I have to say about the whole thing. I wish I had more to give y'all, but that's it. That's it. I'm gonna link my parts list down below for y'all, man. If you buy anything off that list, you support the channel. If you would like an Iron Man shirt, I'll put an image of it right here for you. If you would like a shirt, go follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or somewhere like that where you can DM me and I can send you the link to it, because I don't have it. You know, if you see some shirts down here, it's not down there because I'm making a few changes. So anyway, man, like I said, appreciate y'all for tuning in to another video, man. PullsTv, gone.